So this is your report, Mary. So the first section is the mineral report, and what we always expect is that this will look a little bit like the DNA sequence, a little to the left, a little to the right. Obviously green is good, yellow is a little off, and then red would be very problematic. In your case, everything is really almost in the green. We've got a little low, not terribly low, on magnesium, and a little low, not terribly low, on the silicon and on chromium. So those would be some minimal deficiencies, but everything else is really in range and looking good on your minerals. For the vitamins, similarly, your B6 is just a touch low. Our ideal zone would be green on all of these, so the B6 was a little low. Your vitamin D was just a little bit low, but otherwise, most of your vitamin levels were doing fantastic.
It's interesting. It's interesting though that I haven't been taking my Super B or my D consistently for some time. So
it shows a little
Yeah.
bit for you, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. Heavy metals. So again, even though they're not all green, there's no red, so that kind of goes back to me saying like this is the best I've ever seen on anybody. So as far as the ones that were a little high, so aluminum was a little high, silver was a little high. Now, for some of us that use colloidal silver products, that would explain why the silver is a little high and not terribly problematic. Cadmium, which can be in some of our foods. Mercury was a little bit high, lead, and tin. Even though all of those look bad, this next section tells you that really these were acceptable.
And so I am a person who got my mercury out back in 2018, 2017 from a biological dentist, right? And then I've been doing things to pull that. So I was just saying, had this been years ago, I would expect that to be in the red. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And we see that a lot. People that have the amalgams, all of those things are high. And so the things that can be in an amalgam filling are aluminum, are mercury, are lead, and tin sometimes. So nickel can sometimes be, and depending on how old they are. All right. This next section is ratio. So it talks about, this kind of goes back to the first page, where this is the mineral portions to one another. So this is calcium to magnesium, calcium to potassium, sodium to calcium to phosphorus, potassium to sodium, and then copper to zinc. And so just showing proportionally the ratios to those. So for example, we know that copper depletes zinc. And so you're doing great there. The sodium to potassium is a little bit low. And then the calcium to magnesium is a little bit high. And the reason that is because the magnesium was a little low proportionally.
Okay.
So that's where on this section it'll tell you why.
If my calcium magnesium is say in the red, that could lead me to osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Osteopenia, osteoporosis. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We don't have that in our family.
Well, it's yeah.
So these are all kind of drilled down reports based on how all of these line up with one another. And so it's looking at potential issues. So global heavy metal issues, in your case, it's in the yellow, but it's acceptable. Acidosis, that's your electrolytes to one another, predisposition for allergies, predisposition to diabetes. And then the next section is talking about how we heal in general. So enzymatic state, intestinal assimilation, metabolism, immune system, all of these are fantastic. Cognitive functioning, hormonal state, tissue repair. emotional state. It's
Yeah.
No, it's not in the red. It's in
not-
the yellow.
It's in the yellow. And they say it's acceptable.
Okay.
Cardiovascular health and nervous system. So really and truly, all of these are good and in the acceptable range. And so, great job. You're doing
Yeah.
wonderful with your health. So as far as points to work on, certainly working on getting maybe a little more faithful with taking your B complex and the magnesium, vitamin D, perhaps getting out in the sun a little bit more.
Thank you.
But overall, great job.
Awesome. Thank you.